And now I understand that the whole group for the next 2 submissions are coming up together. So Sarah Everly, Richard Peebles, Ryan Geddes. Am I right? And you have a presentation. So it's not Sarah Everly. No.
Hi. Do you push that? I'll just talk. Okay. I'm Richard Peebles. Ryan Geddes is to my left. We're here talking about the Cranford Regeneration Plan, which is the area on the map in front of you. Between Ryan and myself, we own 12.6 hectares of, I think, about the 30 hectare land in Grants Road and Cranford Street. Grants Road, Grasmere Street. Now, generally, when people come here to give you a submission, they ask for lots of money, but I'm not here to do that today. I'm here to actually offer you lots and lots of money. Between Ryan and myself, we're able to produce about 70 to 80 homes on our land, which is immediately adjacent to the Christchurch City Council's stormwater basin area, the designated stormwater basin area. But one of the impediments actually to the development is the requirements for effectively stormwater basins on our land adjacent to your stormwater basin area, which apparently there's no capacity in your area, which is, if you look on that plan I've given out, it's that blue hatched area. I think it's, I don't know how big it is, but it looks about 50 friggin' hectares to me. But I find it incredible that you can have a designated stormwater control area immediately adjacent to some land for a regeneration area without allowing capacity for stormwater. It doesn't seem to make any sense. But the reason I talked about wanting to give the City Council lots and lots of money is that if those areas, the little blue pond areas, were freed up and you allowed an extra 10 mil on your stormwater basin area, that would be available for providing homes. If we do another, we don't own all that land, but you know, there could be 50 or 60 homes on there at $30,000 each. That's $1.8 million in development contributions. But on top of that, with a development contribution agreement, the actual costing to upgrade your facility, which I don't believe it needs upgrading anyway, but that's another point, you could actually charge the developers, and they would happily pay that because of the extra yield from the sections. So, you know, so we've got, it gets, well, the advantages are also that if we go ahead and produce, and I'm the only one that can actually go ahead without some sort of overall agreement with all the other owners, but once they're completed, we just hand them over to the council, and then you guys have to maintain them and look after them. So instead of having one stormwater pond, you have 4 of them. So I'm effectively asking you, common sense should dictate that we should allow some investigation into upgrading your 40 hectares of stormwater pond area, which should be able to cater for that development of the land immediately adjacent, and free up that additional land for development. Now, to be frank, we've got no idea how much that would cost to it's mainly consultants, I'm sure, but you know, I've got a figure down here as $150,000 possibly that you might have to allow. But as I said, you would recover that and some in a development agreement, and then you'd get about $1.8 million on development contributions. Not to mention the extra rates, less maintenance, and the ability to recover costs. So I'm a big picture chap. Ryan's got a few more details, but in a nutshell, on that plan I've handed out, I've hatched in pink, I think, the area that we own combined, and the blue hatched area is the council-owned designated stormwater control area. That's my submission.
Pauline.
Yeah. Sorry to be thick. I don't quite understand. So in this area here, this is to the west of Cranford, and there's one part of it that's full of springs.
Yes.
So you're talking about the other half of that would be reduced to allow housing?
No, I'm not talking about reducing anything. The blue hatched area is already owned by council.
Yep, oh, it's these other ones.
Yeah, it's those other two that we
There's three.
don't believe you would need them,
Right.
which is effectively the whole development's on hold until those particular stormwater can actually happen. So
You've got stormwater ponds on someone's land where someone else has to do the development and put it on, and
Right.
understandably they're not putting their hand up and say, yeah, rock on, you can.
Okay, so I was looking at the wrong blue bit. So have you talked to our staff about it and our land
Well,
managers too?
we've ongoing, and we've been told there is no capacity in the stormwater pond for the land immediately adjacent.
which seems really odd to have a stormwater basin and the land closest to it can't actually
Use it.
use it.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to take advice on it because, I mean, obviously, we don't have that in front of us.
I think around the cost of it as well, by allowing it to go into or spending some extra money to allow it to go into it, the savings in the long run and the rates and the council contributions are huge for council. So it just makes sense. That's holding it up. Obviously we were grateful to get it through the regeneration plan.
Well, because this was sitting outside the urban development limit.
Correct, yeah.
So, and we agreed to do this on the basis of submitting a section 71 to enable the development in the areas that can be developed in those areas. That not all of it can be. Obviously, there's a basin and a higher ground. So we approved that section 71, but that was on the basis that there was an understanding that the development would proceed. So
That is true, but what happened was we never got to see whose land got a stormwater pond on, or we didn't get to see. We would have been, common sense would have said that you would have gone and put the stormwater in the stormwater basin. Instead there was all these other stormwater bits put there, which has meant no one's going forward on anything because the stormwater's on someone else's land.
okay, so we need to get some advice on
Yep.
that. So Phil and then Yanni.
Thank you. And my understanding is this is a relatively low-lying area of the city. So I'm just wondering, to support your sort of request, have you had any land drainage engineering advice yourselves?
It's the most investigated land. I'm surprised it hasn't sunk further because we put so many geotech holes through it. So it is, some of it's like, my land is the most low-lying, but 60% of my land is above your minimum floor level requirements in your district plan anyway. And the other 4 hectares is about 100 or 200 mils below the floor level. So the land that you bought for the stormwater basin, funnily enough, is the lower lying land.
So my question really is, have you had engineering advice, from a water engineer in relation to what you're requesting or proposing?
We have, yes, but
You've got that advice?
sorry. No, when you say as part of the development, we have to do which is initially we were going to ask you for funding for that. We have to do a 1-year hydrology assessment.
Okay.
That's part of the regeneration plan condition. So once again, the first developer has to pay for that, which is one of the other impediments.
Have you sent that to council?
Sorry?
Have you
We-
sent that
it
advice
hasn't
to
been
council?
commissioned because you have to get everyone to agree to it.
I see.
So that,
That's the problem when you do these ODPs and you have multiple owners and you have this infrastructure which is shared, which is a bit of an issue. But
I mean, I would have kind of liked to have known that before we headed off down this path. I had assumed that the work had been done on getting all of the landowners in that area joined up. But so you're saying that they were joined up until you found the location of the stormwater pond?
Correct.
Tex Mundy, who owns the land where the 2 stormwater ponds are,
Yeah.
why on earth
Area
would he
3.
pay to do anything to have to give all of his land to the city council for a stormwater pond?
He won't get any section, or he might get 10 or 15 sections as opposed to 50 sections.
Okay, so have you seen anything that indicates why they are located there and why there isn't sufficient capacity in the designated stormwater management area? Because
No,
I guess that's the question, isn't it?
We don't know why that. Well, we assume they were put there because they were the lowest points. They're not, but we didn't have a lot of input into drawing up that where the ponds went.
Yeah,
or
but
none.
we'll want to know that we're not building houses and in a swamp.
Well, the interesting
But
thing
it-
you say that though, the land, so my land is higher than the whole of Maryvale. So it's not actually low-lying land at all
Yeah.
when you look at the floor
Well, that
levels.
actually doesn't say a lot.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
I know,
we are a
but
low-lying city.
100%,
so,
yeah, correct.
But you
Yeah.
have a flood management plan with the
Yes.
levels
With
done,
floor
with the
levels,
minimum floor
and that
levels,
applies.
and we have to comply with all of those. So that process has been done,
Yeah.
and we have to comply with that to provide homes. And that's got I think a 400 mil freeboard from memory.
Yeah. Okay, Yanni.
So I was just interested in, it's been 18 months since the regeneration plan was signed. The MOU was supposed to be done within 6 months, and in your submission it says it hasn't been done, it's stalled. Can you just tell us what's your understanding of why it's stalled? And
So-
have you considered going to the Regs and Consent Committee, which looks after district planning, to try
So
and get progress?
we've had engagement with council on this for ever since, trying to get it done, because we obviously knew that we had to try and meet these timelines. It was a non-binding agreement, which is fine, but it was still saying that we would meet these timelines. But if we couldn't, we can't agree to meet timelines if we can't put our stormwater anywhere. So you can't agree, because the MOU said you had to agree to these timelines. We can't agree to that without knowing where our stormwater can go, because you can't develop it without stormwater. So there's no way of committing to something without actually, it's a catch-22. We're in-
So the critical issue for the MOU being signed is to sort out the stormwater. Is there any other issue? Sorry, the mic wasn't on. Is there any other issue aside from the stormwater that needs sorting out?
There is the other issue of the road going through the middle, which the other guys are going to talk about
and
in
the
depth as
hydrology
well.
report.
And obviously getting this hydrology report. But until we have some idea around the stormwater and the road, it's hard to get everyone to fund the hydrology report.
Well, maybe it goes to the Reg and Consents Committee.
Sorry?
Well, we've got a planning committee at council. I just wonder whether it's better going there rather than through this process, which is mainly to do with budget.
Yeah.
But that,
I mean,
sorry. So to bring it back to the original point, the point is, if we didn't have to do the stormwater on Tex Mundy's land, there could be 80 sections done and 80 homes done in 3 or 4 months.
yeah. So, but we need to actually understand the why, so that needs a bit of work. Sarah?
It seems like one of the sticking points, and I have heard this
Many
bit
times.
already, is that everyone's land is different and you've got multiple owners.
Yep.
Have you guys discussed coming to arrangements between yourself? You're saying, why would he develop that bit because he doesn't get any space to build houses? If his land doesn't have the stormwater currently, you guys don't get to build. So why aren't you helping him? Do you see what I mean?
He doesn't
So-
want to sell.
Okay. He doesn't want to sell and he...
There's no point in developing.
Okay. But are you not able to come up with even without selling, an arrangement, a financial arrangement between yourselves, which allows you all to do that development? I mean, because council's already put a significant amount of funding in, because we decided to fund the Section 71 process and all of the work that led to it.
Well, we could.
Yeah.
But, the question remains, why are we doing 3 stormwater ponds beside a stormwater pond?
There
We
is-
don't know
there's
the
that,
answer
and there's
to
some,
that.
we don't know the answer to that
We
one
will,
yet.
we will find out the answer to that question.
But current district planning rules may mean that a development, an outline development plan will have to do those, at which point it would need either another change or something like that, or for you guys to come up with an arrangement between yourselves, even without selling land, that pays for that work to be done, or arranges for that work to be
Yeah.
done.
So,
Yeah.
I don't need Tex Mundy's land. I could go ahead and do that, but that just comes back to the point. I would produce a stormwater pond and then hand it over to you to maintain.
Yeah.
Or alternatively, I would give you lots of money and pay further rates and produce more homes.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly don't want to
Yeah.
go down that route of trying to talk to Tex Mundy, who just, he doesn't want to sell. And you can't, only you guys have the ability to compulsory acquire. We
And
don't.
that would only be for public works, though.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry? We don't have compulsory acquisition powers. The minister does, and buying somebody's property for
But
private
it's certainly not
development
asking for that, because
purposes.
we believe that there's capacity in the adjacent stormwater ponds,
Yeah.
and that we're asking for someone to look at that and, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Tex
look-
would hate it if he thought I came in here asking for you to buy his land. If you're listening, Tex, I never said that.
Okay. Look, thank you very much. It's really a pleasure to hear from you, and we'll be looking obviously for some further information to support our decision making in this area. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.